Welcome back to LesterBros. We're trying to go up.
Yes.
Up the abalone.
Up.
I don't know what you grabbed there.
Why does it have such a hard time getting you further up?
Can you all jump off of... There you go.
Yay!
Master of the game, probably. Do you see that? Some pro strats.
What is happening?
You see that? See that?
No, where is it?
Come on, Bish. It's up on this red post up here.
Yeah, you're supposed to go up the spiral. Like I told you.
Well, can you get over there from here?
We got over there from there.
Oh, I'm so scared.
I'm out of water.
Yep, watch out.
I'm out of water.
Conserve it.
No, there's
No.
water up here, right?
No, there isn't.
There's no water?
No, you gotta just don't use it. You don't need it here.
Just go up the spine.
Oh god, this is terrifying to
Mhm.
watch.
My water's broken.
No.
There you go.
So I set reading goals
Yeah.
for a certain amount of books each year.
And this has to do with water breaking out.
No, this is just a random thing that I'm very proud of.
She's changing
And so I've been really, really bad. Like I think in 2018 I got like 9 books in a year, which was just terrible.
I think it's okay.
Well, I used to be able to do so much more. Why are you laughing?
He's gonna have to deal with those. It's only one though.
No, it's 2.
Is it?
Yeah.
One on each side? Oh no, another red one. Okay.
What are you gonna do, Bish?
Ooh, don't
Kevin-
miss the shine.
Kevikins has got it.
Ah!
100 coins.
Okay, thank you for showing us your tummy. Very exciting.
Thanks.
Alright, there aren't any other episode
Yeah, I get that
specific
one.
ones.
So I set my goal as 12 books this year. 1 a month, right? And I started reading before going to bed. Somehow, I'm at 23 books for the year.
Go to the...
Almost double.
No. 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 Yes. Episode 4.
So I'm gonna try to read the sailing book by the end of the month that you gave.
It's an instruction book. It's gonna be super easy.
I know it's gonna be super easy. It's really good to read before bed because I just read Endurance. That's the last book Kevin gave me
Yeah,
to read.
good stuff.
And it was so good, I didn't want to put it down, and it was hard to sleep because I just kept thinking about all the crazy stuff they were going
We
through.
could do the
Look for the blue
Arctic
coin.
version of that.
Blue coin in the water.
There's an Arctic version of that?
Basically, Fridtjof Nansen. He got stuck in the ice and he lived on ice floes for a year or 2.
By himself?
He pretty much, yeah.
Oh no. My dude.
I think I'm gonna put a question mark on this blue coin in the water.
No, and so I'm happy to read a manual. It's essentially just like a textbook.
Nice.
Because that'll be more boring in some ways.
Is that it?
And so I'll be able to go to sleep easier.
Is what?
No, that's a window.
Here's something I learned, Kevin.
Yeah.
So the book Endurance is about Shackleton went on an expedition. He wanted to go all the way across the Antarctic continent.
He wanted to be the first one to reach the South Pole.
No, someone had already reached the South Pole at that point.
In 1890?
No, in 1904,
09?
I think is when they got to the
Whenever...
South Pole?
Same year World War I started.
Oh, 1914. No, well,
Oof. Yes.
what year did the first man get to the South Pole?
For fuck's sake.
That's fine. There's 4 blue coins in here.
Oh.
So in the sunken city on top of 4 pillars.
Oh, 1898. You're right.
Yeah.
My bad.
The pillars are like way off on the
And
sides.
yeah, he wanted to be the first person to reach the South Pole, and that happened in 1910,
No.
Yeah.
Go way up.
Literally,
to the sides.
this just said the first person to reach the
Stop,
South
stop.
Pole was in 1898.
Go.
Shackleton wanted to go all the way across the continent.
Way up
That
on
was
the
his
sides.
goal.
Yeah.
So he wanted to go from one edge of the continent across the South Pole to the other edge. He wanted to be
Yeah.
the first person to do that.
Yeah.
That's
See
what he was
those-
going for
see those pillars?
in 1914.
Yeah.
That's what you're going for. The pillars.
He left like days after World War I started.
Yep.
And he gets there, they go through the Weddell, is that how you pronounce that?
Yep. Weddell.
Weddell Sea, and then the
the ones
boat...
that don't reach the top.
And
ahead.
the boat got beset,
There it
which
is.
means it got frozen in the ice.
Yeah.
So they couldn't go anywhere. And so basically the way the Weddell Sea works is it kind of goes in this big like kind of circle of currents.
See it on the boat?
So they
I hear you, Paul. For fuck's sake. Shut the fuck up. All right, Haley, keep going.
So they knew that the boat would eventually leave. It was just gonna take a really long time
Yeah.
because they're basically just at the mercy of the seas. And for a while, it went great. Like they were stuck in the boat, but they were all nice and warm. They had their dogs. They like went out a little
And their
bit.
food
Like
and their equipment.
they
And
had all their
everything.
food because they had so much food because he was supposed to get off and go to the South Pole.
Yeah.
And then he didn't do that because he wasn't going to abandon his people
Yeah.
on this boat. But then the flow broke apart. So the boat is essentially between two flows now instead of being frozen inside of one.
Yeah.
And the ice was so thick and the pressure is so great that the boat basically started splintering as the ice pushed it from each side.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where they had to abandon ship.
Yeah.
And then the ship finally like cracked basically, like the ice just came together through the ship. And so they're living on an ice floe. They tried to find the largest one they could.
Yeah.
And it's 27 guys.
I was so close to dying.
Right?
You've got endurance.
Thanks. I don't get that very often.
And so
Cat sneeze.
Yeah.
yeah, the kitty sneeze. Ooh, oh meow. Should we start playing with all the garbage that hasn't quite made it in the garbage can over there? So anyways, so they're on the ice floe for a while, which was like hell.
Yeah.
Because it was just wet. They were just constantly wet, constantly cold.
Mm.
They were eating because they lost a lot of stores in the boat because the boat started filling with water before it actually got crushed.
Yeah.
So they couldn't get a lot of the food out of it.
Yeah.
So they were having to eat just like tons of seal meat.
They still haven't found the boat either.
They haven't found it? I suppose it was just splintered into so many pieces.
People have been looking for it for a long time.
And it's hard because that's like the worst sea.
There's no GPS. Yeah.
No. But I mean, the guy got fairly accurate readings.
But
on a
yeah,
lot of
no, the
things,
navigator's really great, and he left really great information, but
They still
still
can't.
haven't figured it out.
Well, I mean, I suppose it's harder but the cold water you think
It's
would
deep,
preserve it.
cold, it's far away. There's a lot of reasons.
And even now, going into seas where there's ice, you have to have like certain boats.
Yeah.
Like very exact boats.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they were on the floe for a while. They tried to figure out and they had like lifeboats, 3 lifeboats.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just waiting for the ice to keep pushing them until eventually they could launch those boats and sail to one of the islands in the area. But the currents there are just like really hard.
How many more?
2.
Oh, okay.
And so they get to well, now my phone has 20% battery. This will be interesting. They eventually get to the point where they can launch the boats.
Yeah.
And then it's like 5 days where like they basically didn't sleep. They were cold, they were wet. People were getting frostbite and then getting like boils on their hands. And then the liquid inside the boils would freeze.
Yep. and
Like it was just hell.
Yeah, what happens with cold temperatures and skin, and why huskies have to wear booties, is because there's crystals in the ice that cut open your skin, and then moisture gets in there and then freezes and expands, and then that causes stuff like that.
Yeah, so they were just not. And think about this is like I think they were 1915, 1916
Yeah.
by this point.
Leave level.
And so like they have just like shit
level.
equipment.
Huh?
Leave level.
Oh,
Leave the level.
I'm done?
Yeah. I got all 4.
Yay! And so they launch the boats. They don't sleep for 5 days, basically, and they're just in hell. And they get to Elephant Island, which is like really far. Like that there's that little peninsula that goes out from Antarctica.
Yep.
And it's like kind of off the end of that. Is the best way I can describe it. Kind of south of like Argentina.
The Antarctic Peninsula.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
This one?
Yeah.
Which I've been to twice.
Yay!
I was
That's what I was
supposed to-
just about to say.
I was supposed to go see Elephant Island last time I was there.
But the
But the eastern peninsula was blocked by ice from the Weddell Sea. So I got to see a tiny bit of the Weddell Sea. And right at the entrance, got to see a snowy petrel, which was one of the 2 species we were hoping to see.
Right.
Oh, nice.
For fuck's sake. Up the other side?
So these 27 men got to Elephant Island, which it was nice to have land under their feet, but like the island is not hospitable in any way, shape, or form.
It's basically a rocky outcrop.
Yeah, it's like rocks that go straight up. There's like no beaches really.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to get away from the wind.
Yeah.
But it's land at least. At least it's like solid beneath their feet. It's not going to break in half all of a sudden. But it's just like another version of hell from the ice. Like they're just moving hell somewhere else. And so they know they have to get to the South Georgia Islands, which are sort of it was 800 miles north east of where they were.
Yeah.
And they know they have to get there to get a rescue ship because nobody knows where they are. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows where they are.
I mean, as far as everybody knew, they were doing just fine on the route that they were planning.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And they so Shackleton and then I think it was 5 other people. I think ended up being 6 people in the boat.
To give you some perspective, the combat going on in World War I was like conveyed via via pigeon. So people were talking to each other via pigeons still.
And that was like fast.
And yeah, that was the fastest way. And also people were riding horses stabbing people.
Yeah. Actually, I remember in the book they talked about how on the ship they had a radio, but it was only one that could receive.
Yeah, it was one of the first radios ever.
Yeah, and like it couldn't receive from very far away either.
Yeah, so
like they literally had no way.
It's pretty much. I think it was a gift from some South American dude.
Yeah, something like that. It was a novelty.
Yeah.
So anyway, Shackleton and 5 other guys get into this. Well, it was like a 22-foot boat. And they made it as seaworthy as they could. So they put ballast in the bottom. They covered most of it except for like the cockpit area, so at least like less
ballasts?
water could get in theory.
What are ballasts?
Oh, like to weigh down like the keel of the boat, like the bottom of the boat, so that way it tips less easily.
Yeah.
And rides better in the water, I guess. A little bit more sturdy. Having some weight in the bottom. It
makes it more stable.
Yes.
In rough seas.
Which they're going through the Drake Passage,
which is one of the roughest seas in the world.
Even now is like
super dangerous. Yeah.
Super dangerous. That's why the Panama Canal was made so people wouldn't have to go through the Drake Passage anymore. Because it's not easy even now.
It's crazy how
bad it is.
How bad the Drake Passage is. There's a really bad storm every 3 days on the Drake Passage.
Even during the summer, right?
Oh!
No!
You got trolled.
Right back and then he lands like just barely in the water.
Probably want the hover nozzle back.
Oopsie.
Well, might help you.
And I mean, the 2 times that I went, the first time we hit a storm about midway through, and it was like the waves were like taking you up really far like a roller coaster, and then you look down like 30, 40 feet into the bottom of the wave in front of you, knowing that's where the boat's gonna go. And it tips almost straight down.
And that was during like the summertime, right?
Yeah.
Like January.
Yeah,
deep
the perfect
summer,
time.
Yeah, like the perfect time to go, and it was still everybody got seasick.
The luxurious time. Well, it's not just seasick. It rocked so much that people couldn't walk or stand or anything. Especially old people. Like it would be so easy for somebody to have broken their hip.
So they're in this tiny little 22-foot boat, which isn't really seaworthy anywhere.
Yeah.
Let alone the Drake Passage.
Yeah.
And they have to go 800 miles.
Yeah.
And like basically hit a pinhead because it would be so easy for them to just go right past the island. Because, they don't have GPS. they have to get a sight from the sun and measure how far it is above the horizon, and then like do a bunch of math that I don't really understand to figure out where they are.
Yeah.
Go down
To figure out if they're going the right
to
direction.
the second jar. Lift.
Oh. Second jar lift?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. The upper jaw lift.
Now, see that thing? That right there.
Oh, yeah.
You know how to use it.
Yep.
Got it.
I don't think you know.
And so, like, they're probably gonna die, is basically like it's more likely that they're gonna die en route to South Georgia Island than it is that they make it.
Yeah.
But by some miracle, and again, hell in a boat. Like, there's no sleeping, there's no, like, they just like, it was torture for me to read about them being in that boat, and I wasn't even in the boat with them. Like, I was like, I can't even imagine doing
I
this.
feel you. This is exactly like the Dana Passage.
The Dana Passage is my Drake Passage.
It is your Drake Passage. Now, someday you should experience the Drake Passage and see Antarctica, the most beautiful
would
place in the
be
world.
really great.
Get the hover nozzle.
What money, though? Anyways,
Paul's money.
I'm trying to... That's true.
Let's see. Where's the hover nozzle?
It's over by the boat.
Where is the hover?
The boat.
Where?
Get
I
over by the
can
boat.
only have so many expensive hobbies.
Travel. Photography.
Oh, I want to be a pilot. I want to be a private pilot. And that's
yeah.
expensive.
Capitan.
I can only have so many things. Anyways,
If I get a captain's license and I pay you to help me out with my whale tours,
yes.
then like be a deckhand.
Yes.
After 360 days, you could get your own captain's license.
Well, I would help you. I don't know why I would need to be a captain.
No, it's just a certification. All right, never mind. You don't have to.
Anyways, I need to get the first one. I need to get my first boating license before I start trying to move up.
The education card.
I gotta get my education card. Which I want to do before this summer. Before we get in the boat this summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Not this winter?
I can't. I don't have the money.
So bad. Nobody I know has boating license except me.
I want a boating license. I would have it already, but I have no money.
Ridiculous. It's-
Anyways, I gotta finish up the story because it's almost the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So they get to South Georgia Island, but I don't remember exactly what it was, but like the seas were just not good. And then so they get onto land on South Georgia Island, but they're on the opposite side of the island of where they need to be.
Yeah.
And this is an island that has like mountains, like
It is very mountainous.
10,000 foot mountains,
It's pretty-
glaciers.
Yeah, that's Mount St. Helens.
Yeah, it's not like just a little flat island. It's like mountains.
And they're Antarctic mountains, so they're like really
And they're-
icy and snowy
And they're almost on the exact opposite side of the island of where they need to be. Because it's not all populated. There's only like one area that's populated. And it's all on the other side of the island. And they just get on land because they need somewhere where they can actually sleep and like recoup. And then their boat ends up breaking the rudder off. And so they're basically like, well, okay,
That just hovering.
I guess
Yeah.
we walk now because
Can you spray
we
those two
can't
things though?
I will.
we can't go anywhere in this boat anymore. Like, even on like the nicest day in like the Caribbean, they wouldn't be able to go anywhere. They don't have a rudder.
Yeah.
So 3 of the guys stay because I think they just weren't feeling well or something was wrong with them. I'm not sure. And 3 of the guys, including Shackleton, decide to cross the island, which no one had done before. And actually,
what a fucking hero or leader by practice. Like, he's doing everything.
yeah, Shackleton like had an iron fist on all of this, and he like was so stressed because he was like 26 people are depending on me to do all these things right, and
Yeah.
somehow he did them all right. So
And what he did was he kept his enemies closest. So the people that disagreed with him most, he
actually, so the reason he chose a couple of the people who went on that rescue boat was because he was like, these people like to complain a lot.
Yeah.
Or these people like rile other people up, so they should come with me and not stay on this island where
Yep.
they're just going to be waiting for months.
yeah, leaders from business. What the?
And so they cross the island. It's really hard. It's impossible. In fact, nobody did it 40 more years. And even then in 19, like I think it was 55, somebody crossed the island for the first time again. And they had like all the perfect equipment, all of the greatest rations. Like they had all the best equipment to be able to do this. And they were still like, it was really hard.
Yeah.
And we knew exactly where we were and where we were going.
Yeah.
Shackleton didn't, like he knew where they were and where they were going, but it was hard because they would have to again do the sighting stuff.
Plus they've already done
like,
a lot of crap. Like they're already
they're already weak
exhausted.
because they've been eating meat for months, which isn't, you're not supposed to just eat meat only for
Seals.
months and months. Yeah. And then they get there, and then it takes like 3 more months for them to be able to get to Elephant Island to save the rest of the guys because there was so much ice that the boats couldn't get into the island.
Yeah.
And so the guys on the island were like, did they make it? We don't know. It's they might have
They
might have
probably
saved.
would have just died in the ocean.
And so somehow, out of all of this hardship, in this really long episode, Paul's all worried over here. But somehow through all of this, 27 men made it. Nobody died.
Nobody
By
died.
some miracle. I kept thinking, like,
Even the best polar expeditions of that time, up until the 50s-ish, people died all the time.
but here's something I learned. That, so, the way it worked is he came in from one side, and there was going to be a supply boat coming in from the other side, laying a supply route for him on
Yep.
the way out. And actually, people from that one got trapped as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was like 10 people got trapped, and 7 of them made it.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite the same, like...
It wasn't from his team, but...
No, and he didn't know it was happening. He
Yeah.
didn't learn about it until afterwards.
And he wasn't leading them either, so...
No. And, like, they knew they were trapped, though. Like, the boat dropped them off and then couldn't get back to them. And had to like, come back the next year or something to get them. Like, it was insane. I was like, how did both ends of this
Didn't that boat start with
expedition?
an S? The Saranda...
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Anyways, next time, LesterBros.
Jesus.
Oh, fucking
We'll try to talk about something else, baby. It was just such a good story. Read the book Endurance. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that story, too.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to go to sleep, because I was like, I'm too into this. Like, I gotta know. I gotta know how.
Is that it for this level?
No, there's like 10 more.
There's
What
still
the
10
fuck?
more.
Yeah, there's a lot of this level.
Jeez.